Welcome to the after show, the Get Up Crew after show. Ramiro, Melissa, and Leroy. Pebbles is not here today. Actually, Leroy and I were just talking about tornadoes, but that's not what we're going to... We could do that for another day. Yeah. But he has a recommendation for a Netflix show. Yeah. What's the name of the show?
The Twister, I believe.
The Twister. Okay, it's like real life.
Twister.
Yep.
Like
Twister.
I love that stuff too.
Yeah. Oof. That's what you want to see, like actual footage of tornadoes from people in the tornado with their phones. It's crazy. But that's not what we want to talk about. We actually want to talk about Melissa, who just last week unexpectedly lost her cat.
Yeah, it's not so much about me per se, but it's, I don't know. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for the outpouring of, like, you have no idea the amount of messages, just people liking my post, like, you know, just it's crazy. Like, you know, we do a job every day, and I think sometimes we forget how many people enjoy listening to us and have become sort of a part of our family.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for that. And I want to give a couple shout outs too. I got Krista, who's one of our old interns, has a company now that she on Instagram, and it's called KAYEMPEA Designs. And she puts together like t-shirts, and I think she also makes like jewelry and trinkets and accessories, but I know she does t-shirts for sure. So if you want to hit her up on Instagram, she sent this to me, which I thought was super sweet. And then we have listeners. Where are they? Oh, their card is right here. That sent me this card from Lauren and Presley, and they sent me this beautiful charm with a message about when you lose your pet. I'm right here beside you, and it's a little best friend charm, which is super cute.
Funny thing about Krista, I just remembered when you were saying that. I'm like, I know she was a funny intern, and there were so many times. By the way, this was back when, you know, not everybody got offended. She probably could have got me fired so many times. Because, you know, she had a good sense of humor, so it was fine. But, like, if it was now in 2025, somebody would be like, oh, I will never be able to, like, work or trust another human being again after this experience. I used to always play jokes on her where I would have her, I'd be like, oh, can you go bring this downstairs and I would always make up a ridiculous, stupid, crazy sexual name or have her go ask for that person. So I'd be like, oh, do me a favor, go downstairs and ask Phil to blah, 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 blah. And she's like, who's Phil? And I go, Philatio. Just go down. It's Philatio. He'll know what you're talking about.
When,
yes, exactly.
Mo at the bar.
But the names were like next. I couldn't even tell you. Philatio is probably like the lightest one I gave her. But all the time, because she would do this thing. I don't know if she does it now, but everyone has a thing like when they're trying to remember something. Her thing was she would repeat it to herself like in a whisper. So she'd go, Fellatio? Yeah, okay. Fellatio. As she's walking away, she's saying fellatio. It sounds stupid, but at the time, I would die laughing every time. I'm like...
And she'd always fall for it.
Oh, my God. Then she'd come back 10 minutes later, and she'd be like, you piece of shit.
Yep.
So
anyways,
that.
yeah.
And then there was another time that she walked in on... Speaking of fellatio, she walked in on her mom going down on her. It was either her dad or her stepdad. She goes, I opened the door. She goes, and my mother just looked up like this.
Oh my God, that is the worst.
Yeah, Krista was a good girl.
Oh,
she was fun.
Anyways, yeah, shout out to her. But like, no, I was just bringing all this up because not all of us, but a lot of us are pet people, and we've gone through the process of having to put down a pet, which is one of the the hardest thing. Like in my case, I will say in this case with Butters, it was easy. And I say easy, like obviously it wasn't easy, but like sometimes you have a choice of your animal is sick. You don't know how much longer they have naturally. So are you going to assist them in putting them down and putting them out of their misery? Or are you going to be selfish about it and keep them for yourself for another year, maybe two? Like with one of my other cats, it was a hard decision because I didn't know how much longer she would have.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the quality of life. To me, it wasn't. So, but with Butters, they came back and said she's got so much cancer in her. It's just not, so for me, the decision was easy this time around. But there's a lot of people out there that have the difficult decision of not knowing, okay, well, maybe if she does this medication and I keep her on it, and maybe she'll get better, and maybe I'll keep her alive. But it's like, so there's a lot of guilt that people have reached out to me with there's not focus groups. There's groups on Facebook for people that have had to put their pets down and ways to cope with it and not feel guilty and stuff like that. Then there's the other piece of guilt of, do you get a new pet? When do you get a new pet? And is getting a new pet saying you're not loyal to your other pet? And there's guilt in that. And I'm kind of there now, where it's only been a week since I had to put Butters down, and already I'm looking online on Pet Finder to get a new cat.
Do it 100%. I'm on board with getting a new one as fast as possible. I mean, I've met people on both sides of the fence, and I've yet to meet someone who never got another pet.
Oh,
and
really?
Was like, oh, it's so much better that I didn't get another dog. Oh my God. My ex-wife's uncle had apparently these 2 golden retrievers that he was in love with. In love with.
Goldens.
They died. He was like, I never want to go through that again. So he never got another dog after that. He wasn't happy. He wasn't. He should have gotten another dog. He really should have. He's the one that comes to mind. But I mean, I don't remember anybody who's ever been like, yeah, the dog died or my cat died. I never got another one, and I don't regret it. No, you got to get another one. It doesn't mean you love that other animal less or any of that. Any of that. Whatever you try and tell yourself. It's like you create this story in your head of Rex is going to hate me.
Right.
I forgot about him. No.
And not to bring this up, Ramiro, but I remember when you had to put Jax down, your dog.
Was awful.
You were not okay for a while, and the first thought I had in my head was, oh, you're never going to go through that again. I never thought you were going to get more animals after that, ever.
I didn't. I got another animal like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
I got him.
That shocked me, I will say.
I lost him in early October, and I got Rocky in late October. Because it's just what you do.
Well, please, people, don't judge. I really don't. I'm not a pet person.
No judgment. Not everybody is.
I'm curious, so when you lose your pet, and I know yours just happened recently, and yours was a while ago, Ramiro, do you think about them like they are another? How often do you think about them? Is it like the same way you would kind of feel about losing a human?
Well, I'll tell you my story, because Jax wasn't the first dog I lost. I lost, I think 2, maybe 3. No, 2 before him died. The reason that he was special to me was because of the stage of life I was in. It was right when I got divorced, and I was. I moved out of my house, and I'm like, okay, I know myself. I have a very I could easily, not in a bad way, but I could easily keep myself busy doing stuff to the point where I won't come home. I'd come home at the end of the day to sleep or whatever, but I could easily just spend all day out just doing stuff. And not come home until I have to go to bed or whatever. So I said, okay, I need something that's going to give me something that I need to be responsible for, kind of like a routine type of situation. And since at the time I had my 3 kids, but I wasn't living with any of my kids. So, and we had dogs at the other house, but the other dogs stayed. I wanted to keep it stable and stuff at my ex-wife's house. So the first thing I was like, you know what? I'll get a dog. If I get a dog, now I got to come home. I got to take it for walks, feed, all that stuff. I went on Pet Finder. What are the odds? He was the very first dog I saw.
Oh, get out.
Yeah. And I'm like, this dog seems cool. I've never done this before. It's like online dating. I don't know.
Right.
She's pretty. Let's go for it. Swipe, So, but I got him. And man, when I tell you that this freaking dog, anybody who knew me when I had that dog and who knew him gets it. They'll tell stories. But if you don't, I tell you the story and they're kind of like, yeah, okay. I got this dog. He was like, I loved him right away. He's like 98% German Shepherd. He had like, I got a DNA. I loved him so much that I got a DNA test on him. Mm-hmm. And on the DNA test, they had like his whole family tree and like of his great grandparents or something. Like one of them was like a lab, and one of them was like a collie, like Lassie.
Oh,
rest German Shepherd. So he looked like a German Shepherd, except his color was like a yellow lab color. But like from when I first got him, I would literally we had this bond where I didn't have to. I mean, I did have to train him, but I really didn't have to train him. It'd be like I'd take him outside and I'd be like, all right, so like whenever you got to shit or to go to the bathroom, like we go outside, okay? We go on walks, and the first couple of walks we went on, I'd have him like on a leash. I'd bring him to like the dog park, and there was a dog park that we went to. It was in Framingham where you park, then you walk. It's a pretty long walk on a trail, like to get to the area where the dogs run around and stuff. So I'd get him out of the car, walk him over to that area, and I'd keep him on the leash because I wasn't sure how he was going to behave with the other dogs. I'd see, other people let their dogs off and stuff, and some of the other dogs kind of like started wilding out and not listening to their owners and stuff, and I'm like, fuck it. Let me try that with him. Let him off the leash. He'd start playing and stuff with the other dogs. And then they'd all start running like far in a certain direction. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to lose my dog. All the dogs would go, people calling their dogs and stuff, trying to get the dog's attention. He would run and I would see him stop and turn and make sure that I was there.
Oh.
Yeah. And so then I'm like, all right, so he's cool. He's like, and he would like come back to me. So then I like took it to like the next level where he'd stop and turn and look at me, and I'm like, let me see what happens if I turn around and start walking this way. He'd come running, walking my direction. I turn around, start walking this way. He'd start walking this direction. So then I got to the point where I would walk. I wouldn't even use a leash. I'd have the leash around my neck, but I would just like walk with him, and he'd walk with me, and we'd go to the dog area. We'd go take a walk because they had woods and stuff. Then we'd come back, walk the trail, go back to where the parking lot is. There's cars coming in and out of the lot. I'd go to the parking lot, and I'd say, hold on a second, Jack, says the car parking. And he would stop and sit. Oh. And there were people who were like, they'd look and they go, what did you do with him? And I said, what do you mean what did I do with him? They go, how'd you train him? And I go, he trained me. I got to be honest with you. I go, he just like, he looked at me and was like, what do you want to do, dude? Let's figure this out. So anyway, the time I got him, the bond that we developed, that's why with him, he was like the dog, the once in a lifetime dog. That's why with him when he died, and because when he died, like my wife and I were at a wedding, and I got a call from the guy who was watching him, and he was just like, Rocky just dropped in the yard. I brought him to the vet. I'm sorry, Jax just dropped in the yard. I brought him to the vet. Jax, the dog. That's not my son.
Right.
I named my son after the dog, which shows you how much I love that freaking dog.
And it was unexpected. Like that,
completely
he didn't have any health problems or complications or anything.
Well, he did, but I didn't know.
Right.
He had like cancerous tumors on his spleen and stuff that burst. And so I get on with the vet, and she's explaining it to me, and it basically gives me the spiel of, for like, I forget, it was like $8,000 or something. She goes, we could do a surgery that, might keep him alive for a couple of weeks, but he'd be in pain. And she was basically telling me, like, in her way, like, you got to let him go. But I was a little emotional at the time, and I didn't take it that way. So I stopped her and I said, so you're basically telling me right now to be a piece of shit and tell you to kill my dog instead of paying to keep him alive. I remember saying that to her, and I did apologize to her after because I was mad. Because I'm like, you're basically telling me kill my dog. And I was just like mad that I had to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess that's their job. They have to like give you the option because some people might want to do it. But I'm not going to keep him alive just to be selfish when he's going to be in pain. It's going to cost a shitload of money.
Right.
And he's going to be alive for what? 5 minutes? So that brings me to like why he was such an important dog to me.
Yeah. And in situations like that, it's like, where I'm going back to, do you keep them? Do you pay all that money to keep them alive for maybe a few more months or maybe another year? Sometimes those decisions are not easy to make for some people. But and as far as getting a new animal, like I said, I have been reaching out to a lot of, and it sucks because a lot of these places, they don't have the volunteers, so I'm not hearing back from anybody, and it's frustrating because you see all of these animals that need homes, and it's like, I'm a great pet parent. I want to adopt, and these people are not getting back to me, but I have to think in my head that I know a lot of them are short-staffed, so I have to be patient. But either way, like, I think the moral of the story is just if you feel like, you want to get another animal. And Leroy, I don't remember what your question was specifically. You were talking about...
I guess I'm trying to figure out how close to a human connection is your connection with your pet.
Yeah, and a lot of people get mad when you say, oh, it's like having a human. Obviously, it's not the same thing as a human dying. It's just not. But for some people, like me, where I don't have really a large family, like my animals, I don't have kids. I don't have a partner. So it's like my animals are kind of like my kids. I would never equate it to that. Right. But losing a pet is very difficult and it is hard. And when I think about, you asked about when I think about Butters is when I'm home and I have my other cat Toast and I'm expecting her to be there because she was literally, I would open the door, she'd be there. I'd go to the bathroom, she'd be there. I'd go in the kitchen, she'd be there. I'd be laying on my couch, she'd be there. And she's not there anymore. So it's just, I keep waiting for her to come around the corner or to so it's just, that's when I think about her the most.
Yeah, it's different for everybody. It's like levels. Yeah. It's like, I know a girl who she can't have kids. So she has a couple of dogs. She has multiple dogs. And she will have like birthday parties. Like invite people, gifts, cupcakes, all that stuff for the dog. Not my thing.
Yeah.
Like I
but
find
you
it.
Get it. You understand.
Yeah. Like I'm like, all right, I would never do that. But what are you gonna say to somebody being like, oh, you're an idiot because you love your dog so much? I mean, it's everyone's thing is different, you know, and it all depends on everyone's situation. Now with kids, honestly, and the fact that I had that once in a lifetime dog, I call them. If any of my animals die now, I'll be like, oh, that sucks, but I definitely will not be as devastated, because again, it's not. First of all, they're not my kids; they're my dogs. Right. I also don't treat my dogs like that. I'm like, when their birthdays come around, I'm like, hey, it's Rocky's birthday. We get him anything? I'm like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Get him a bone? I'll get him a bone. But I'm not gonna send out invitations and have people bring him and sing happy birthday to him or whatever. I'll be more scared if something happens to one of the cats, just because my daughter loves the cats so much.
Right.
So when something happens to one of the cats, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's gonna be a tough one. But cats are supposed to last a long time too. But
they are, but Butters was only 11. Yeah. My other cats were 20 and 17 when I put them down.
Yeah. So everybody's thing is different. Whatever, man. It's just like everything else in my life where I'm like, hey, I might think what you're doing is stupid, but at the end of the day, do what you want to do. It's your life.
Right.
When do you get a new cat?
I don't know. I have a couple of it's just, not to get too deep into it, it's just hard because I want a lap cat and a cat that's going to be cuddly, and it's hard to tell from seeing a picture online. Yeah. But I don't want to go into a place because I'll want to take them all home. Yeah. So it's weird. It's hard. I don't know is the answer to the question.
My daughter works at a shelter in Rhode Island. I'll ask her if they have any cool cats.
Yeah, please do.
All right. Well, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the after show, and peace.